This is somewhere you've not seen before. It's somewhere that I don't come to very often. I did call in here last year in the search for Platypunus pinetorum, the harvestman recorded new to Nottinghamshire in 2020. That's, again, the reason why I'm here. This is 100 Acre Wood, just north of Worksop. Now it looks as though we may get a few glimpses of sunshine. It's cooler today than it has been of late. Also there's more cloud as well, so any sunshine is at a premium today. We're just restricted to a few chinks in the cloud. That's why I've come here. But it's just for a wander around, see if we can turn anything up. It's ideal habitat over most of its part for Platypunus pinetorum. And I've checked a number of trees, and already I don't think it's here. It usually doesn't take too much finding if it's present at any site, but there's plenty of suitable trees. And I didn't get much further than just down there where the sun was sort of trying to come through last year before the thunderstorm. So I'm hoping to explore this lovely bit of woodland again a bit more today. And to give you an idea of sort of where we are, this woodland lies at the side of the B6045, which is the road from Worksop, and heads in the direction of Hodsock Priory. Many of you will know that because it's famous for its snowdrops. Anyway, I'm going to wheezily wander down there and see if there's anything lurking on the trunks. And quite quickly I found this. This, of course, is a harvestman. It is a Platypunus, but it's not Platypunus pinetorum. This is Platypunus triangularis. This is the commonest species found throughout the UK. You will get this turning up in your gardens or on garden walls and fences occasionally. It's not too often that I find it sat on the trunks of trees like this, very much in the style and posture of Platypunus pinetorum. It's a less strikingly marked species, but it is a handsomely marked species nonetheless. The ocularium, which is the part of the body that houses the eyes, is narrower than in pinetorum, and pinetorum of course has that beautiful chestnut coloured ocularium, which contrasts rest with a strikingly darker body than is found on Triangularis, as in this one. It's a nice species, and I don't think I've recorded it from here, so this is probably a new grid square for Platypunus Triangularis in Nottinghamshire. That's a nice little start. And on the same tree as Platypunus Triangularis is this larval case of Taliporia tubulosa. I may well have recorded this species here in 2021, but I'm not sure. And this case is active. There are some movements I've noticed, and you can see on this the insect fragments around the neck of the case where it's attached to the tree. By the looks of this, you can see the case moving, so the larva may well be in the process of fixing itself to the trunk here prior to pupation. So that's another nice record. 100 Acre Wood is a beautiful wood from what I've seen. This is about the limit to where I've come before. We've just come through an area of woodland which is predominantly beech and sweet chestnut and a bit of oak. We've got a pine plantation here with the odd larch mixed in for good measure. It's not particularly large wood, but it's one that's well worth a visit, just for a quiet stroll and a quiet walk around. It's lovely. There's a nice plantation of sweet chestnuts behind me. And this, it's quite surprising how the understory of certain trees is the same throughout Nottinghamshire, at least in the Mansfield area of Nottinghamshire. This could be anywhere, any of the sweet chestnut plantations or sweet chestnut dominated woodlands around the Worksop and Mansfield area. This is about all you get, often very little in the way of ground flora. Here we've got the almost compulsory bramble, which is no bad thing because it's about the only nectar bearing plant that you'll often get in woodland like this. The problem is that sweet chestnuts have quite leathery leaves that take a long time to break down, so there's always a real heavy covering of leaf litter underneath sweet chestnuts, so very little can grow. Hundred Acre Wood's quite an interesting bit of woodland, despite not being particularly large. It's a real mixture. It's almost like visiting different parts or different woodlands within the county. For instance, here, this area is now dominated by silver birch. You've got these lovely silver birches here. I'll be quite honest with you, this particular area is good hazelbot beetle country, potentially. May well be worth coming back and having a look. You never know. And the usual warblers are here, the chiffchaff and willow warbler. Lots of young birch shooting up now through this understory of grass, bracken and bramble. This is the only bit of bracken that I've seen in the wood so far. It's a real joy. Now here's a little interesting tale. There's two spiders here. The green one with the what appears to be a completely white abdomen, really has a darker dorsal surface to it, is one of the Thomasidae spiders. It's a crab-like spider called Dia dorsata, spelt D-I-A-E-A if I remember right. That's, despite being the largest of the two, is the victim here, because the little orangey coloured abdomened spider is the victor in this battle of the web. And this is a tiny juvenile of Parastatota Leonardo, which gets a fair size larger, almost as large as a Dia dorsata. It's surprising though that the larger of the spiders is the victim. Now, Dia dorsata is by no means a common spider in Nottinghamshire. It's probably under-recorded, and you'll often get it in woodlands where there's evergreens like yew There's one or two woodlands in the Worksop area. This may well be a new record for that spider here, actually, but I have had it at Hannah Park, just south of Worksop, but also at a number of other locations as well. Now, the Parastatota Leonardo is much more common. You'll often get it in small crevices of tree trunks, the gaps between branches, and all sorts of places. You'll get it also on window frames or just underneath the window sills and window ledges. It's a spider that you'll find all over. As it matures and grows, the spider forms a little hide of fragments of leaf in the centre of the web, and that's often a big giveaway to the presence of the spider. So, amazingly, small is better than large, at least in this instance. This almost looks like a naturalised plantation of pines. There's no regimented rows here, and the smell of the pine is beautiful. Not like your Forestry Commission plantations. By the looks of it, these are all Scots pine as well. Anyway, I'm heading downward through there. It's slightly more undulating, this further reaches of 100 Acre Wood, but it's a nice wheezy wander of discovery. Now here's an interesting little beastie. This, having 8 legs, is an arachnid, and it's a mite. It's very aptly named. If I put a photo in here, you'll see why this is called a red velvet mite. And these are large. The length from head to the end of the abdomen or the body here is about 5 mil. These are large things. They belong to the family Trombididae. Identification's a bit difficult, but they do have a fascinating life cycle. We know virtually nothing of the status of these in Nottinghamshire. I doubt whether anyone is studying mites at all, and these are worthy of study. It'd be nice to know just what species we have in Nottinghamshire. They're commonly found on trunks of trees like this, or around the base of trees, fairly slow moving. I've tried to film these in the last couple of days. This has been the most confiding and the slowest, hence why you're seeing it now. Just look at this. This is some type of speedwell. Speedwell has the most beautiful, soft, bluish mauve flowers. Some are a bit more blue, but it's a cracking plant. All the speedwells are. Various species. I couldn't tell you what this one is, but this is about the only patch of it that I've seen along this woodland edge. But it makes for a beautiful sight. And here's the flowers. You can see the difference between the older flowers and the newer flowers. Look how blue that very fresh flower is. That really is sort of blue. And then they become this purplish mauve as they age and lighten. 4 petals, white centre, absolutely beautiful little flowers. Gorgeous things. Well, I've now just come out the southern side of 100 Acre Wood, and there's this old track, or old road, I've no idea really. Might just be a farm access track, but it runs right along the southern edge of 100 Acre Wood. But I'm not going that way is away from the car. I'm going back along here, just a couple of 100 yards back to the road and where the car's parked. But there's a nice bit of woodland edge here so I can have a look for a few bits and bobs. It's starting to warm up a little bit. There's a few more gaps in the clouds. Might even see a bit of sunshine. I don't think it'll be a lot.